Got a lot of stuff going on here on the table, putting together a pretty crazy custom build based on an EMERBU Gen 8.5, but pretty much custom designed all the pieces that you see here. And I also kind of show some of the paints and stuff, so I'm going to talk about kind of what I did here, what I'm doing. As you can see, everything's painted out. I'm going to still let it sit for another day to really cure before I start putting it together. That's always a good idea. That's always a hard part for me. I'm very impatient. So let's talk a little bit about what we got going on here. Right, so obviously we started with that M4 receiver. So that's really the only piece, that I'm reusing from the, stock blaster, aside from the gearbox and then some accessories. So I wanted to go with a gray and green kind of color scheme because this kind of has a futuristic vibe, and I still thought that green would go well. Plus, these have been on sale for like 2 for 1 on Amazon for this flat green camo paint, which got it down to about $6 a can, which is pretty good. So I wanted to mix that in, and then this is a satin granite color acrylic paint. So some of this is acrylic and some of this is enamel, which people have asked before. Benefits of enamel: it hardens, it's stronger, it just takes longer to dry. You just need to make sure you give it time to cure. So we got some mixes here of acrylic paints, and then the green is enamel paints. But make sure you give it enough time, so you got to be patient. It is probably better to go ahead and use the enamels. It's just, again, you have to be patient. And when it comes to mixing paints, like if you use a base of something that's enamel and then you switch to acrylic, if you let it dry, it's fine. However, there can be reactions if you don't have things dry enough, and you'll get some weird kind of bubbling almost. So, all right. So what I did with the green, since I was going with that flat, and I had this stone texture paint, which was a different one I've talked about before because it was on sale, so I thought I'd try it. I thought let's bring in some texture in the green pieces. So I hit those with that stone texture first, and then went with the coats of the green, and then hit it with a matte clear enamel on top of that. Again, and I'm just going into this more because people have asked about it a little lately. Over here on the grays, obviously this I don't need to hit with any sort of primer. I do use a 2-in-1 filler primer that you can see back there. That's what this is. So I do use that sometimes. That just helps fill in any issues with 3D prints. And then, of course, you can sand it. And then I went ahead and painted it with that satin granite and a satin clear coat. So that's what it comes to when the paint. All right. Now the design itself is pretty crazy. Here's the handguard. So this was kind of my inspiration. It was actually like a bottom, like a handguard grip that I found, actually for some sort of KELTEC and model, and I'm not sure which one. But I took that, kind of multiplied it, flipped it, custom built pieces, and got this kind of almost like a shark kind of face on it, with the strike face. And then incorporated that in throughout, made these top pieces that have the rails. So we got this nice big kind of futuristic handguard. All right. Got some side rails that are going to go just perfectly down the middle of the sides. Okay. And then on the bottom, got a grip like this that's going to slide all the way up flush against the magwell. And then here's the grip that's going to kind of be more your traditional grip that's out towards the front there for your foregrip. All right. Then got this top plate goes onto the receiver. Okay. See, this goes on. This is going to slide onto the receiver. And then there's a nice long kind of rail, added some strike face in, that's going to connect those two just to give, again, stability. This does have the connection piece that fits on here, but it's still going to add stability. And when you see how big this thing gets, you're going to know why. All right. Before we get to the stock, some of the other thing got going on, going to go with the drum mag. These are just some pieces to go on the drum mag. Like this piece is going to go in, fill in right there, right? So it's got the little kind of saw blade, and then I put the spikes in the middle. And then these pieces are going to go like right here, kind of right next to each rib all the way around. Just to kind of incorporate that so it matches nicely. Other accessories, got the EOTech where it painted out the hood. And then also there's a little strike face, or excuse me, kill flash that's going to go on there. Those are still drying a little bit. A couple other decorative pieces, something for the laser and the flashlight, so those can be incorporated. And now over here, let's talk a little bit about this. Well, actually, before we get to the stock, this piece that slides over the receiver is then going to have this, which you can see. There's some heat inserts. This is going to mount on here, and this is going to then leave it open for you to see the ejection port. Just again, something kind of cool I thought to do. And the ejection port will actually just be covered by this. Now, it would be really cool, I guess, if this had a blowback feature and you left that window open to see the blowback, but that's not the case in this one. On this side, more just kind of a standard type piece like this, right? That's going to drop down, kind of incorporate things, kind of cover some seams. Then we got this giant stock back here, okay? So these pieces are just decorative pieces that are going to go on here and here. So the decorative pieces kind of tie in some colors, and then they also, if you have any imperfections, you can kind of use those to cover up any imperfections, right? So that giant stock is going to slide on the buffer tube, and it's going to connect kind of to the top of the receiver with the heat insert. See, this goes down to the grip, and then we got this little knuckle duster that's going to slide in, and it's going to connect right there on the, actually, sorry, you guys can't see that. It's going to come up like this right here. Oh, I got this the wrong way. It's going to come up like right here, okay? So that'll be really cool to incorporate the knuckle duster that goes all the way from this giant stock. So you can see this stock is one I have used before, however, heavily modified, right? Just added in a lot of things. And of course, when I put this together, you're going to see it all much better. But I like to do these just to kind of show you guys everything that goes into it. Made a nice kind of radian style charge handle. So that'll go on there. That'll still work good. And then a crazy big, I guess we'd call it a flash hider / fake suppressor that's recessed a little bit. So this will go on right here, and get screwed in. So it's definitely going to be big. It's maybe a little too big, but hey, that's all right. It's got a crazy look to it. It's kind of got a futuristic vibe, so it's all good. All right, so there you go. I know that was a long video. For those of you who like seeing what I do, hope you enjoyed it. For those of you who didn't, if you skipped it, that's all good too. So check back. Once I get it all put together, I'm going to give it another good 24 hours to sit before I really start handling it and putting it together. And then I'll show you guys the finished product, and we'll see what kind of FPS we're at, and show you that demo too. All right, comments, questions, post them below. Like, subscribe, share my channel with your friends, and participate in those monthly giveaways. Thanks for your support.